So I'm sure you've all seen a TV drama or a documentary, or maybe in your own life, an example of an abusive relationship. And you'll be wanting to scream at the victim to say, for goodness sake, leave your husband or your partner or your wife. It could be the other way around. Because you're being abused. And yet, what does the victim do? They defend their abuser. They say, no, I do love him, or I do love her. They just get angry sometimes. Or they make up excuses for the abuser. Okay? And so they're in a state of denial. Does this remind you of something? Have a look at the dynamic right now between the government or the state and the population. I believe that much of the human population right now is in an abusive relationship with their governments, because they are in a complete state of denial, and no matter how many times you try and tell people that the government does not have your best interests at heart, they still aren't getting angry about the fact that they are being pushed into poverty through this inflation. They're not willing to criticize the government. In fact, there are some people who will defend them and say, oh, it's difficult times, they're trying their best. Really? I mean, spare me the lunacy. But unfortunately, this is what happens when you're a victim of psychological abuse. This is classic bullying and manipulation tactics. It's what they do. It's what bullies do. It's what abusers do. They give you a little bit of love or a little bit of respite every now and then they go on the attack. Look at what they did, for example, in the UK in 2020, where they said you can have Christmas. You can definitely have Christmas. And then 5 days before Christmas, they said, I'm sorry, it's too dangerous. You can no longer have Christmas together, or you must reduce your numbers, even though everyone had planned it and got excited about it. Classic abuse. And yet people still defend them. This is the reality of the situation. And it can be very, very difficult, as in an abusive relationship, to get the victims to see what's going on. And it can be scary to them. It can be unnerving. And a lot of people don't change and just stay in that relationship because they don't know what else to do. They're totally dependent on that other person.